We want to thank our amazing sponsor, the Rope Drop Queen herself, Michelle McKnight. She's a destination specialist with touring plans and can help you plan an amazing vacation. Whether it's Disney, Universal, a cruise, or an all-inclusive, she can help you with booking, planning, and strategizing to help you have an incredible experience at a great rate. Contact her today at michelle@touringplans.com. Now, on to the show.
Helping you navigate the Disney parks.
With the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
You're listening to Rope Drop Radio.
Welcome to another Rope Drop Radio. Derek and Doug talking all things Disney. And Doug, our listeners asked, and today we are answering lots of listener questions coming at you today.
Yes, lots of questions, some answers.
Some answers. We might be right, we might be wrong, but we will answer the best of our ability, that's for sure.
But to up the ante, we have a guest to help us answer those questions.
We do. Sometimes we need help, Doug.
Sometimes.
All the time.
Sometimes.
Thank you to our spouses who are listening to this show and always helping us through everything. So anyway, you know who else helps us, Doug? Transition. Our Patreons help us. They do. They are an amazing community, and no new ones this week, but two long-term Patreons we have to give a shout-out to, Heather Actung and Jennifer Edmondson. I butchered those last names. I'm so sorry, guys. I think you got the
second one just
right.
Okay,
good. I love interacting with you guys, but yeah, I'm not the best at names. Neither is Doug, as we will learn here soon enough, because we have another Apple podcast review.
Thank you for leaving the reviews. We really appreciate them. It's good to get the feedback and positivity. So here we go. I'm so glad I found this amazing podcast. And then like 5 exclamations. So I don't think I said that loud enough.
Yeah,
no. All the exclamations. And then 5 stars. Right? And it's by C²642005.
Oh, I totally thought you were going to say Cook Squared. No, I was waiting for that one. Okay.
And then I'm guessing June 4th, 2005. That's just my next thing is something big happened that day for C². Anywho, on to the review. I was so lucky to stumble upon Rope Drop Radio while planning for me and my son's first WDW trip. Doug and Derek together along with Michelle have helped me plan the most out of our upcoming trip. I am so happy these Disney dads are here to help us first-timers get through the ins and outs of the parks, and I will never stop listening. Thank you, Rope Drop Radio. And then like 10 exclamations.
I like exclamation points.
I can't get that loud. Kids are supposed to be sleeping.
That is, my kids are not right now. That is for sure. I can hear them in the soft distance.
Samantha's probably out. 2-a-days happening for soccer. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrestling season just ended. So they're, that's that awkward between sports, the winter and spring sports, Doug.
In high school, it's just like
it just goes from one. Yeah, I miss those days.
It's just boom, and then you're there 2-a-day, 6 a.m., and then after school. I do not envy her.
No.
But it's all worth it because all worth it. Anyway,
back to Disney. We do. So we have a guest. So today we welcome back a great guest, longtime member and former member of the Disney Moms panel, now known as the Plan Disney panel. Welcome back, Kathy K.
Kathy K, because you guys don't want to pronounce my
I'm bad
name.
enough at last names. So we're going Kathy K on this one.
I'm going to Greece. I'm going to Greece this summer. I should probably practice it, but nah.
In Greek, karalekas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah.
My tongue doesn't roll that way. I have German in me.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a good Irish girl. I left behind a good Irish name. Perfectly fine Irish name to marry a Greek man. So, I had to learn a little bit. So I'm happy to be back. It's so cool to be back with you guys again.
Yeah.
I love rope dropping with you guys.
That's right. We like to rope drop. Well, speaking of rope dropping, the Disney Plan panel, tell us a little bit about it before we get into listener questions and how someone might try to apply.
Well, Plan Disney is an online forum where guests can submit their trip planning questions, and the panelists are there to answer those questions. And we are guests just like everybody else. We're not cast members. We just are longtime travelers and guests of Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we just love helping people plan their vacations. I am not active right now. I'm a past panelist, but I do love to plug my friends at plandisneypanel.com whenever we can. And since we are just regular guests who love to help people, then just about anybody can apply for the panel. And that comes up around September. So just start watching social media, watch the Disney Parks blog, and you should see an announcement for the 2023 panel, most likely sometime at the end of the summer or early fall.
Yes, and you can find Kathy with us many moons ago.
You didn't
and that's
look up
where,
the episode number, Doug?
I was busy watching Nebraska basketball instead of doing that. I meant to, but our Huskers won a game on the road against a ranked opponent. Oh, Ohio State. How sad for you. Anyway.
We looked at the numbers. We have a lot of people in Ohio that listen to this show, Doug, that just tuned us off.
I said it's sad for them.
Okay.
Like, it was a bad loss to us. I don't know what happened.
Over the last week, guys, Doug and I have changed how we do the podcast. So we're able to see what states and, listen to us more and more. And it has been the most fascinating thing. In fact, we're going to talk about Patreon sometime about it.
Yeah.
We got to break this down because it just blows my mind. So anyway, back to the show.
Should we talk Florida Gator basketball at all? I can talk Florida Gator basketball.
They have a team?
Does the SEC play basketball? I don't know. I haven't.
I thought
we haven't really been
football.
following.
It's actually, we're not that
basketball.
great right now, but that's okay.
I tuned out of basketball months ago as we were horrible, and then we decided to win 2 games in a row at the end of the season to give us hope going into a tournament where we have no hope.
No hope.
Mm-hmm.
All right, question time.
Questions.
Time for questions.
There we go. From Patrick. Also, thank you everyone who left questions for us. We asked on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So follow us at Rope Drop Radio and all the things. So anyway, Patrick asks, Genie Plus Strategy. Which parks are the best to buy it and which can make do without it?
This is a really good question, right? Because you don't necessarily have to buy Genie Plus for every day of your vacation. You can kind of pick and choose. So if you're going to a particular park on a certain day, you want to save that $15 per person. Maybe you don't need to invest in Genie Plus for every single day of your vacation. I would say if you're going for a longer vacation and maybe you have a couple of days in each park, like say, for example, you're going to have 2 days in Magic Kingdom, maybe you get it for one day and not the other. Maybe your second day in Magic Kingdom is more of a relaxed, let's just go on whatever kind of day. Otherwise, I think there are certainly attractions in each park that would be useful, right, for Genie Plus. I mean, anything that has a long line, which right now is almost everything. So I think it's useful for just about any park, but I think that my best advice would be, if you're planning multiple days in any of the parks, maybe that second day, maybe don't get it for that one.
Yeah, there's no wrong way to do it. There's no absolute right way to do it. But I feel like if I can save a half hour of standing in line with my children and other people's families and children, that I'm sold. That's my breaking point. And I think it's pretty easy to save a half hour unless you don't book something at 7 a.m.
Yep.
And then you don't book another one when you can. Like if you do the work on it, if you actively book things, it's worth it. If you're going to not book something at 7 a.m., you're going to wait till you roll out of bed at 10, then I think it's not worth it. But also, if you want to sleep in, but you can set an alarm, book something at 7, roll back over.
I can't do that.
More power to you.
Nope.
You also don't have to buy all of Genie Plus to use the individual lightning lanes. I think that's an important caveat. You can just get Rise of the Resistance without getting Genie Plus. But then you're committing to every other line in Hollywood Studios, which I mean, you could just sit at Baseline Tap House. It doesn't work there, so. That's it.
Yeah. He said parks. And so the first one that came to mind is Magic Kingdom. You're going to get the most bang for your buck. There is the most lightning lane attractions. Yeah. If you're going one day Magic Kingdom, absolutely it's a must. I agree. If you're going 2 days, get it one day, maybe not the next if you want to save a little bit of money. And I also agree with Doug. Hollywood Studios, Slinky Dog by itself almost pays for it alone. I'm a family of 5, so yeah, we're shelling out some money, but to get us all on Slinky Dog and we'll save an hour, maybe 2 hours, done. It's worth it.
Unsung hero also is Test Track.
Yeah.
That's a big one because it goes down. If you're in standby, it goes down. just having that in your back pocket is great. Get that first thing in the morning, and you're set with Test Track. A lot less stressful day at Epcot, and then you can enjoy the food and wine, or the flower and garden, or the holiday, all the things.
All the things.
And one more really important point on this is to keep in mind, you need to make sure that you're checking like really close to when you're going to go. Check and make sure that the attractions, the Genie Plus attractions haven't been moved. Like, for example, right now, those individual Lightning Lane attractions, which ones? Space Mountain, Frozen Ever After, Runaway Railway have just been moved from individual Lightning Lane back to Genie Plus. So
increases that value.
Yeah, so you can't get those as individual Lightning Lane right now. They're not available as that separate purchase. You can only get that with Genie Plus. So if you want to ride one of those, then you're going to want Genie Plus. But just make sure, as close to your vacation as you can, double check that the list of attractions on each one of those levels, because that could change your planning completely.
And that Genie Plus change from individual Lightning Lane for like Space Mountain, Frozen, and Mickey and Minnie's runs through like August.
Yeah.
8th or 9th, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So it's a really long time. And hopefully by the time they get to that point, they're just like, yeah, just keep it. And my guess is when Everest comes back online, it will go into that pool as well, rather than an individual Lightning Lane. That's why there's no change at Animal Kingdom. It's because they're already running with just one individual Lightning Lane.
There you go. All right.
I think we got it. it.
We do. All right. Next one is from CT. When is the dining plan returning? The question that we hear all the time. I'm sure Michelle hears every single day.
She would love for
not
that to
soon
be back.
enough. How about that? That's my answer. Not soon enough.
You can't see me shrugging. I'm shrugging.
This year?
We don't know. Right. I mean, as far as I know, there haven't been any, updates on that. There hasn't been any kind of movement on that, at least not, officially announced or anything. So our Plan Disney hack, we have a hack for this. Instead, whatever money you would spend on the Disney dining plan, whatever level that you were thinking to use that money to get Disney gift cards.
I like that.
And then that is sort of your own personal dining plan, right? That your pre-budget. Really, all the dining plan is a pre-budget. It's prepaying for your dining. So if you put that money into gift cards and then use those to pay for your meals, it's really kind of the same thing as a dining plan. You're just pre-budgeting and then using that money to, pay for your meals.
Plus, I'm going to try that when I go in March. Okay.
You guys may know better because I don't really, I don't buy gift cards like at stores, but I mean, you may still get deals on Target, like with the red card.
Yep, 5%.
And at Costco, I think.
Costco, Sam's
Club.
Yeah.
BJ's.
So you can even save a little bit by buying the gift cards for a discount and then using those for your dining plan.
There you go. Yeah, I think it will be back once they figure out how to, get the supply chain and staffing in order.
Exactly.
So, tomorrow. And so, like earlier today, I was texting with Mr. Alex Sinek, and he was going to go find dinner, and he went to 3 different restaurants that are closed on Monday and Tuesday over in the Boardwalk and Caribbean Beach area.
Really?
So we're not even keeping all the restaurants open on Mondays and Tuesdays. So we're a ways away. So thank you for the info, Alex.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and I can't wait for it to be back. I love it. So anyway, going with Aaron, tips for using Genie Plus with a large group, 10 or more people.
I have one. I'll just say real quick.
Okay.
Is I would use one account and multiple people can log in to do different things, despite what some people say that you can't be logged in on more than one device. Trust me.
You can.
We've been
I've
logged
done it
in on
multiple
5
times.
at the same time.
We do it. Mm-hmm.
You do that. If everybody has their own account, it gets really hairy. And then tech support has to make sure everything's linked right. And it's never linked right. It's Disney tech. So one account, multiple people, just make sure before you buy something, make sure you have the right people checked.
Yes.
So I don't know. Kathy, do you have some other good advice for 10 or plus?
I'm echoing what you're saying. Just make sure that you have your friends and family list. I always say that backwards, family and friends. I say friends and family. I mean, like the friends and family
'Cause you like
sale.
friends.
Hopefully you're
Or-
friends with your family. Some people aren't.
Disney nomenclature. It's family and friend. Your family and friends list. Just make sure you have everybody on your family and friends list to begin with, and then they should populate in your list there when you bring it up. Doug's right. We've done that before too. We have one account. My husband and I share. On like his device has it, he's logged in on my account and I'm logged in on my account. And we've done before, we're like trying to get stuff on the same account on different phones. So that should work. But yeah, I think it's up to 12 people you can do at a time. So 10 you should be able to do, and then just have them all in your list beforehand. And the other thing, just make sure everybody wants to do the same thing.
Oh yeah, that was my tip. Everyone have a plan.
There you go. All right. Well, you go, Derek.
Oh, I was just going to say, 7 a.m. is not the time to debate what ride we are doing.
You mean on the bus?
Yes.
Going to Magic Kingdom at 6:58?
No, that is not the time. Have a plan made the night before. Have one, the leader. We'll call them the alpha of the group. They are the ones like, no, this is what we're doing at this time. Whoever gets clicked it first gets it in.
Now, if you do have different groups that want to do different things, then that's where multiple devices and multiple accounts can come in. You can, click 5 people to go to this one, and then somebody else does 5 people to go to something else.
I don't even let my kids have that. No, there's just like, yep, we're doing this.
Right. Well, yeah.
I was on the bus once to Magic Kingdom, and this family, extended family, they all had separate accounts, and they all were trying to make Genie Plus lightning lanes that overlapped for the same thing. So they kept going like, oh, I got 10:05. Oh, now I have 11. And so people were like canceling, rebooking, because you don't get to pick the time. So eventually they had it down to where they had between the 4 different accounts a 10-minute overlap for their first thing. The amount of stress that caused, had they just had one account all linked properly, one person make it done. Yeah. That's and I'm standing in the middle of all of it. Just me, just right there, just this one
overheard
guy.
At Disney.
Just I was like, can I?
That's when you record it and put it on Patreon, Doug.
Oh, that would have been fun.
All right, let's move on to Michelle. Microwaves. Can people really request them?
I don't know anymore. They've had them in the past, especially if you have a medical, reason that you need to have a microwave. There have been limited numbers of them in the past, but I would say don't count on that for sure. You can always use the microwave in the quick service location at your resort, or book a family suite at Art of Animation.
One-bedroom villa, there you go.
Yeah, or a villa, or a DVC villa, absolutely. That way you're guaranteed you have that microwave right there, and a sink and a refrigerator, and actually the villas, do they have full-size fridges, or are they the dorm-size fridges like in the family suites?
Oh, I'm pretty sure we had a full size. Yeah, it's a bigger fridge.
Full size,
yep.
Which means you also have a freezer. Because in the family suites, you just have you only have the
It's a large dorm fridge, which is 1,000 times better than the chiller in all the other rooms. The chiller, half the time I changed the dial, and I'm not sure it did anything ever.
Or Fort Wilderness, the cabins at Fort Wilderness, that's a full size, big refrigerator, like in your kitchen. You have a full kitchen.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance I can get a microwave for my Pop Century room if I need to for a medical reason?
They have in the past had them available for that sort of thing. I don't know post-COVID. I don't know what the status is of that, but I know they have in the past, so it's worth asking. But I would say more than likely your best bet is just, the quick service, the microwave in your quick service is available to everybody.
Moving on to a question that I love. Ryan Brady asks, what, if anything, will Disney do to combat Universal's new park? Because that park seems to be pretty epic, mind the pun. Also, will we ever have a ride that connects to parks like Hogwarts Express?
Doubt that. The parks are so far apart.
The Skyliner does that. That's
Skyliner.
Yes,
Skyliner.
that is a ride
Halcyon
itself.
kind of has one. The Star Cruiser, the Transport, kinda like the Hogwarts, kinda.
Not park to park, but from a resort to a park.
Resort to park. We're getting there.
Okay.
But what are they going to? They're going to build that fifth gate. Come on, no questions asked. That's what we're doing.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't know. Hopefully they just finish Tron. Can we just get
eventually? Because here's the thing. Universal, it's going to open in 40 months. And it's really exciting. But the thing is, a lot of people who book Universal also book a little bit at Disney. So Disney's still getting the money anyway. It's not like Universal is taking away from them as much. We'll see.
Man. They need to announce something, because the speed at which Disney does construction, it takes them. I mean, the train has been closed since 2018. 2018 for Tron construction. It's 2022. We're in 4 years to build a carbon copy.
With a kid my kid is obsessed with trains.
By the time he gets to write it,
I know he's going to be done with that phase. And it really
age out of trains.
No, I'm well aware.
It's insane.
Yes.
All you got's the monorail, or go to Disneyland. We
did the Casey Jr. train a lot in Disneyland. Anyway,
sorry.
But no, it's a great question, because I think this new park is going to be epic, and it's got a lot of great things. They're building it. They're speed rushing this. So if Universal really does start pulling away from Disney's revenue stream, that's when you see Disney like, okay, maybe we do look at a fifth gate, or actually just cleaning up and fixing up and adding attractions to all their parks.
Yeah, I don't know. We have no answer.
No. But I love this question, though.
The way they'll combat it is they'll open Epic Universe, and Disney will be like, the day before, or the day after, they'll
Mary
make a
Poppins
big press.
is finally opening in London.
No, you're getting too carried away.
Oh.
Derek, they're gonna call a press conference, get all the bloggers, and the vloggers there.
Oh, so
and
we're there.
They're gonna announce the return of the dining plan.
Ooh, yes, tie it back in. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Now that one's
all right.
Beating that question.
Moving on, Holly Griffin. On one of your last podcasts, you mentioned having multiple battery packs for your phone. How do you travel on a plane with those? I've had no problem.
You just can't put them in your checked bags. You have to have them in your carry-on or on your person. I have like 10 batteries in my backpack. I make Derek carry one. I carry one in a cargo. That's why I have purse pants.
I have like 5 of myself.
Well, you carry one for me.
Oh.
So, and then like Michelle has, it's.
I have a lot. So many.
Carry them on. Don't forget them in the airplane. Done that. I think you were with. No, that was with my kids. I was yelling at a kid to get up and move.
We left one in the stroller.
Though. It happens. So this way you take a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why we do take like at least 5.
Dozen.
Okay, not dozen.
That's
how
much Genie Plus uses.
It does take way too much. It's really like, kind of getting angry.
That app again?
The fact that actually you have a lot more kids than I do. Well, we have the same amount of kids. You have a lot more kids on screens, and I can see that just draining phones. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to add a couple more.
Yeah, but how much power does Snapchat take? I mean,
I don't know. I'm not on Snapchat.
I'm not either, because I know they'll take pictures of me and send it to make fun of me.
No. I do that without Snapchat.
Thanks.
I put that on the Patreon page. Also, if you want to see any of those Patreon page pictures of Doug, you'll have to be a member, and we'll take plenty more in March and April. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
All right. JC asks, when do you think Disney will get back to normal crowds, or will it ever? Kathy, what do you think? Yes.
Define normal, because it's pretty busy right now from what we're seeing, right? I mean, there are an awful lot of visitors.
Normal, like the 1990s, when you could just kind of walk on whatever you want?
Right.
That's what people think is normal.
Yeah.
Is normal, Is normal not busy, or is normal busy? I mean, there used to be sort of a predictable pattern, where it was not so busy in January, and then it would ramp up for spring break, and then it would come back down, and then it would ramp up again in the summer. One thing to look at, I think, I always tell people, look at the blockout dates for annual passes, especially for the Florida resident annual passes. As a Florida resident, I'm quite familiar with these. Those blockout dates are the dates that Disney is telling us as residents, you don't want to be here anyway. This is busy. This is the busy time. And the new blockout dates are for the new levels of passes. it used to be all summer was blocked out for the lowest level of passes. Now they've added summer dates back in. So most of the holidays are blocked out for the lower levels of the passes. But there are a lot of days in the summer you can go now. So summer isn't as busy as it always used to be.
Kids have camps and all sorts of things. Yeah.
It's hot.
And it's hot.
We're just tired of the hot.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I think a lot more people are more inclined to take their kids out of school and just go.
Yep.
You know, I think people worry less about, oh, no, we can't miss school. You know, so I think that summer has become like, you know, early fall is busier now than it used to be.
Well, there's a lot more fall breaks across the country that are now a week instead of like a day or 2 days.
Yeah.
So you have a whole week in the fall. And that's coast to coast now instead of just certain pockets of areas. That has a huge impact on October. I remember when October used to be nice other than Columbus Day weekend. And now it's like October, give me that 10-foot pole. I'm not touching it.
October. Yeah. I mean, you've got food and wine has expanded so much.
To 12 months.
Yeah. And
pretty much.
Yeah. And the Halloween parties are, you know, start in August now. So, you know, the times that we used to think of as the slower periods really aren't so much anymore. But what was the question again? Oh,
are they ever get back to
normal crowds? I think we're there-ish.
Yeah.
Ish. But
I mean, if you're talking about capacity,
2 years.
it's
we won't know what they're doing with capacity until Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? If you can get a park pass to any park other than maybe Magic Kingdom for Christmas Day through New Year's, day of, then we know we're back to 100% capacity, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like if they're not restricting that, but if there's still like park pass issues come the holidays, then we know they're not at 100% because 100% is like literally a week. Like, is it full capacity? Well, Disney doesn't get to full capacity, but for a few days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even then it's not full.
Not technically
They'll
full.
They'll take that money, bring you in, spend it. Yep.
I think we're there.
Yeah. I agree. I just wish they had a few more things open to get rid of some of the crowds.
Yeah, that would help.
Character meet and greets, bring them back. Anyway, Steph Walker asks if you can make a Genie Plus reservation at 7 a.m. for later in the day, say 4 p.m. What time can you make the next one, 9 a.m. or 11 a.m.? This is a great question.
It sounds like a math problem.
It is. There's two trains.
Yes.
The answer is 11 a.m. 11 a.m. because if you make your Genie Plus reservation is that the right word? You make your Disney Genie Plus at 7 a.m. If the park opens at 9, that clock doesn't start ticking. We're talking about the 120-minute rule. You can make it after 120 minutes have passed, but that 120-minute rule clock doesn't start ticking until the park opens. So, I mean, that's if your park opens at 9. If the park opens at 8, like Animal Kingdom sometimes will open at 8, or even Magic Kingdom on a busy day might open at 8, then that's different. But if assuming your park opening is at 9, then the answer is 11.
What if it's 10? Or 11, like then Epcot? Then it's 2 hours after.
2 hours after that.
After opening.
And the app is really good. The app will tell you exactly what time. Because I had a weird one that was like 4:06 or 5:06, something weird. I'm like, oh, I was on a ride, so I waited till, I set a timer on my phone. I'm like, all right, you're going off at 05, so I know to make one at 06.
Yep. So
set the timer for 2 hours.
Oh, the timer's great.
Or after you tap in.
Yes.
That's when you can make it. But they're at 4. So you could, in theory, should be able to make several.
Yes, and that's when we talk about stacking at the end of the night.
Yep.
Once
Stack
you
them up.
Use your earliest one or 120 minutes have passed since you've made one. That's right.
Not complicated at all, folks.
No.
And you can book an individual lightning lane anytime.
Yes.
And it makes sense after you do it a few times.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
That's right. Your second trip with Genie Plus.
Oh, so much better.
So much better.
Yeah, if your phone doesn't
Unfortunately, most people don't have 2 trips to practice before they're there with their family on their once-in-a-lifetime trip. So that's why we're trying to help.
There you go.
Yeah.
Practice at home. You can't really.
Watch videos, watch YouTube videos, right? I mean, That's what I do for everything. I don't know how to do
The answer is listen to more podcasts.
Listen to more Rope Drop Radio.
More podcasts, Kathy.
Ask
Come
us
on.
questions. There we go. All right. Stolk 314 asks, in case something goes awry, wait, was that?
Awry.
Awry? Okay, thanks, Doug. Can you still modify table service reservations so long as it is before your check-in time? And how early can I park at a resort before a dining reservation so I have time to check it out? I love that second question because it can be anything.
You can modify, but you run the risk of not being able to. Yes. You can modify as long as there's something available.
Yeah.
Yes. As long as there's a time available, yes, you can modify, but you don't want to say cancel your reservation and then not be able to.
Right. You cancel.
Get it.
20 minutes before you get charged, but you can modify it out 59 days.
Yep. And we've modified multiple times, adding 1 or 2 people. Thankfully, we just go 15 minutes before and been able to, hey, we're reservation of 5. Can we do 6 and stuff like that?
But this is on the app, Derek. They're talking about on the app,
okay.
Not walking up. Because as soon as you,
for the record, on the app, I did do it.
Prior to your check-in,
I think you can.
Oh, okay.
I think you can.
Yeah.
I think you can modify pretty much right up to your check-in time.
But before you check it.
Yeah, before you check it. But it's just, odds are, can you? I mean, theoretically you can, but practically, can you? Is there a table size available? If you're adding people or if you're wanting to change your time, you may or may not be able to do that. But I think you're allowed to if the availability is there.
Yeah, if like 30 minutes out, you're like, there's no way we're going to make it. And you don't have, you're going to be so late. Say your flight's late or your transportation got messed up and you're like, yeah, we're not eating there tonight. I would bump it out 59 days. And then once you confirm that you moved it, then just cancel it. That way you avoid the charges, $10 per person. And how early can you park?
Has anyone here ever gotten that charge?
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah.
No.
Not gonna lie.
No, definitely did that once. Did not make it into Epcot in time. Tried to fly in and get there, and it happens.
Didn't modify. Bump and cancel.
I was hoping to get there in time, and it just nope.
No guarantees that this would work, but we were stuck in traffic once, so we have to drive on the dreaded I-4. From
the dreaded
Tampa.
I-4. That's the most
I-4.
Romantic interstate in America.
Oh my Lord!
Full of cranes.
Wait, why is it interstate romantic? What makes an interstate romantic?
I got nothing.
It's
a terrible interstate. It's always under construction, so you have these slow.
Awful.
It's because you're going really slow through construction. You can have time to talk to your significant other.
Okay, all right, there you go.
There's not even construction coming from Tampa. I don't know what it is. There is a lovely Mickey ear, electrical poles coming in, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
But we were stuck in traffic on I-4 at one time, and we had a dining reservation at Be Our Guest, and we actually just called the dining phone number, Disney Dining, and said, "Yeah, we're not going to make it." And they were able to get in touch with the restaurant and let them know they're coming, and they held it for us. So I don't know if that'll work every time, and probably you can't call when you're on a plane. But stuck in traffic on I-4, it's worth a try.
So how early has anyone here ever parked at a resort? I know what I've done.
Okay,
this isn't what I've done.
So I've parked an hour before a reservation.
I did an hour one time. Yes.
I don't think I'm brave enough to push it further.
Mm-hmm.
It would totally depend on time of day and mood of person at the gate. But I've parked an hour before.
We talked to the person at the gate for quite a while, like an awkward amount of time.
Oh, I was just waved in. I was
nope.
Like,
it's like, what are you doing here so early? And I was like, we want to see all the Christmas decor. And they're like, okay.
So that should work.
An hour. I think 30 minutes is kind of what they expect.
Yeah.
I think that because they want you to be early because you got to park, you got to walk in, you got to go to check in. So 30 minutes. So an hour isn't crazy.
And you generally have a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours after, say before they really start harassing you to move your car. And even that, I've never heard anybody really get like.
Yeah, I've yet to be harassed.
Yeah. So
my car.
if you don't have time or you can't get in early, you'll have time after you eat to explore if you want to.
There you go.
I agree. All right. Wendy asks, what is the best plan of action for extended evening hours at Magic Kingdom? We'll be at Magic Kingdom 3 days and will hopefully get to utilize the extended hour on one of our days.
So this is I assume she's talking about for
deluxe
deluxe.
Yep.
Yeah, the deluxe resort extra hour that you get. I mean, if you've ever done extra magic hours in the evening, it's basically what that was. So
but less people.
Yeah,
significantly less people.
Yeah, so
especially at the Magic Kingdom, it's a good one.
Now, is this one? Do they don't do? Am I mixing it up with? They don't do like free ice cream and stuff.
No,
that's the other one.
Just extended park hours.
It's just like extra magic hours.
Yep.
So,
you scan your magic band when you go into queues. So there can still be crowds because they're not kicking people out of Main Street and out of the ambiance, but they're not letting them in.
People in the lines of the ride. Yes.
Yeah.
So you have a chance to ride, take some rides and have some fun. Just in a little extra fun. So plan of action, I guess you'll be there, during the day and you can stay, right? I mean, would you guys say that's the best way to do that?
Yeah. Or show up for fireworks and stay after that too.
That'd be a fun one. Take a long nap in the afternoon, have a good dinner somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Always a long nap.
And I guess it also, obviously, it's going to depend on if you have, small kids or not. You may change your plan of action for that, but
we tried and it failed our children. Our kids were done.
Yeah. So you have to know your family and your situation. Yeah.
I would try to hit the shorter length attractions. Like your first attraction you go on when this starts, I would not do Small World or Pirates.
Any of the big ones.
Do something that's a shorter, like Thunder Mountain is a shorter ride. That way you can get on it, get off to something else. Peter Pan's a short one. Mine Train's a short one. Put Mine Train at the end of the time allotment, because it will have the longest queue. That would be the only strategy I think I'd really employ is try not to do 10-minute, 15-minute attractions. Try to get those done before the special hour starts.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good answer.
All right. Shutterbug0603 asks, if I come to Disney solo with a 5 and 7-year-old, will my kids miss out on things because we wouldn't be able to sit together, or with the 7-year-old wouldn't be able to sit solo with our first time?
So basically this person is saying, is assuming a lot of rides that are 2-seater.
Mm-hmm.
Because your 7-year-old can't ride alone, can't sit alone. They're not old enough. Is it 7 or is it actually it's 7? They can sit in the same car with you, like in the next row or something.
Mm-hmm. So you'd sit with the 5-year-old, the 7-year-old would be on their own.
Yeah.
So it'd be tricky on the attractions where they can't see you, like Toy Story Midway Mania and things like that.
But you're not going to ride, Space Mountain probably. You're not, I think for children that age, there are enough attractions that you're all three going to be able to fit together.
Oh, yeah.
Or, you may have
Big
to sit,
Thunder,
somebody will sit right behind you.
You'll all fit, Big Thunder, you'll all fit.
What's funny is Mine Train, my kids fight over the single seat now. So your kids are not going to feel left out if they have to sit by themselves. It makes them feel like a grown-up all of a sudden.
You can sit 3 on Big Thunder.
Yeah.
No, Mine Train is what I was.
Oh, Mine Train.
So Big Thunder,
it's
great. But Mine Train, yep.
Mine Train, and Mine Train, now they may have to sit with a stranger. Your 7-year-old may end up sitting with someone else.
So many times.
So just be aware of that. But they'll just be right in the row, right behind you or right in front of you. But they may sit with another person.
Yep.
But for the most part, like Dumbo, you can sit a parent and 2 children on Dumbo.
Yes, especially that age.
And then you have Pirates, which is a big bench, and Small World is a big bench.
The attractions it'd be an issue is actually a very small list.
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Like even Space Mountain, you sit behind them and you can see them if they're tall enough and brave enough, right?
Yeah.
Barnstormer might be.
You know what's happening now, Doug, being a family of 5, is I'm sitting by myself or with a random stranger, and I always hand them a rope drop radio card. Every time.
Other
100%.
than that last part, I've been sitting on my own for years. They don't put people next to me. They're like, oh, that guy.
No, that guy.
We can't. We're going to ruin someone's vacation.
Let's have this extrovert sit by someone, and they're going to talk to them the whole ride. That's what happens in my case.
And I would be like, is this guy going to be quiet?
No.
We're a family of 3, so I'm on those rides. I'm always the one sitting by myself. My husband and my son hang together, and I'm by myself. And yeah, we have pictures of strangers all over, from Slinky Dog Dash and
test track. We have a stranger in every test track picture on the planet. I think people are like, hey, who is that person? I don't know. Single rider line. It ruined our photo.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but you'll be able to do all kinds of things with, like you said, Doug, I think there are fewer attractions where you wouldn't be able to share. Mm-hmm. So don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Yep.
And it will be awkward for like 3 minutes, right? Like Buzz Lightyear's a bad one because everybody wants a gun.
Yeah.
And same thing with Toy Story, but.
Well, then the 7-year-old gets his own vehicle, and he's double shooting one with each hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 7-year-old.
Every kid's dream. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
K. Carly 12 asks, and this is a lot of questions. It's a little bit longer one. So, how far ahead does Disney share what rides will be down for refurbishment and when?
Okay, well, this information is actually in the app. If you go into the Walt Disney World app, and you go to the park hours section, and then you kind of scroll down, it'll give you the attractions that are under refurbishment. Now, I looked today, and it looks like it only goes out about 3 months. I saw it into May. If you want to go farther than that, I would suggest going to like Touring Plans. Touring Plans has a really good list of the refurbishment. And Disney Tourist Blog, Tom Bricker he's really good with that too. He gives some detail. But you can find it on the Walt Disney World app, or again, these some of the blogs are really good about keeping up with that stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes they give you 3 months notice as to what's going to be down, like Everest. Mm-hmm. And other times you're like, it's closed for the next week and a half. Sorry, guys. Here's some bubbles and hula hoops.
What? You got hula hoops?
They always bring out the hula hoops.
Okay.
Derek. That's the class
standard,
that
I guess.
Disney is. Yeah.
All right.
Bubbles and hula hoops.
Yeah. So if you have scheduled refurbs, then obviously, those are showing up, and then, you have sometimes rides just go down.
In the slower times of the year?
No. Actually, let's talk. The next question is, what time of the year are the most refurbishments happening?
The slower times of the year.
February, I swear. When I go every February, we always get
like,
with
Derek's
them.
coming, shut it down.
Typically after the holidays, has been when they do that. So those will be the scheduled refurbs.
There was like 3 years in a row I never saw water where the riverboat goes, so I couldn't.
Yeah. You didn't know there was water.
Didn't know there was water supposed to be there. Standing in line at the Haunted Mansion, I'm like, well, that's an awkward attraction.
It's pretty, yeah. They can't afford to lose capacity from Thanksgiving to New Year's. Okay. So that if you want everything to be open, that's when you go.
Yeah.
But there's a reason it's all open, because they need it open.
All right, let's keep going. Was bummed to realize Everest was down on most of our recent trip. What are the pros and cons of a split resort stay? I just did this. Doug, you do it all the time.
All the time. Pro? You see more resorts.
There you go. And great for podcasts and, content if you're a travel agent.
Yes. Con? You have to pack up stuff and
move. A lot of packing, yes.
And, like, if you're using Disney to move your bags, they may not get there till later in the evening at your new resort. So, there you go. If you have a rental car, it's much easier.
It's really a good idea if you want to maybe splurge on a deluxe for a night or two, and then, your budget, go to your more budget-friendly resort for the other half of your stay, or vice versa. It's if you want to try to get a little bit of that deluxe life in, split stay is a really good way to do that.
We used to do that where we'd stay at a value and then one day, like the Contemporary, I did one night at and like we're staying at this resort. We're not going to a park. It's just enjoy this one. We're spending a lot of money on it, kids.
That's what we do that too. Obviously, we're local. So, we have times when we just go over and just stay for, a weekend or something like that. And we'll do non-park stays, especially if we're in a blackout. We'll do non-park stays, and we love to go over and just kind of hang out and, spend time at the resort. And that's a good time also to do a splurge. If you're not going to go to the parks, then you're going to spend more time in your resort and,
all right.
Spend more money on that resort.
Well, speaking of resorts, we're going to keep going with Kay Carly. She asks, are there any hidden gem locations to rest?
Doug, this
so
is
many,
you.
yes.
Wow. So we did
Mr.
an entire show about where to get out of the way and kind of hide and relax. So it came out June 8th of 2021. It's not an episode number. It was just a bonus titled Where to Hide/Relax at Walt Disney World.
Ooh, I like it.
And I'll just say one of my favorites to the Magic Kingdom because it's the hardest to get away without dogging on Hall of Presidents or Carousel of Progress. I'm going to say the tent in the back of Storybook Circus. Well, there's some fans. There's water fountain. It's close to snacks.
Yes.
What else do you need?
And when the train starts running again, it's really nice to watch
that would wake me
train
up.
go and the train whistle.
The whistle would wake me up. This construction's been great.
My backside of Canada, still my favorite.
That's a good. Epcot has lots of. Morocco has some good areas, lots of little hidden areas. But we have a whole episode back on June 8th, 2021. Everyone go download it now.
There you go. She continues to ask, our last trip and first trip in a long time, we were in the Magic Kingdom from open to close, but didn't know of any nice off the beaten path places to be a little quiet and rest. Already looking for more tips and strategies for next time. Thank you for your podcast. How greatly in preparing for our trip in January. Looking forward to the new episodes. So we kind of covered this a little bit.
Yeah.
We
got the
storybook area. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Suds in Sun asks, best place to relax, rest your feet, and grab a beer. We're going beer here.
Username.
Yes.
The Instagram username fits perfect. There's only one answer here, Derek.
Baseline
Tap House. That's exactly where I was going. Yep.
If we're talking
you want a beer. There you go.
That is it. There's plenty of other good beers on property, but that's the best.
It's a nice
to
place
be able
to
to sit
and
get a pretzel the size of my face.
Yeah.
Also, some of the great background music in all of the parks. It's a lot of trombone shorty. Be ready for that.
Wow.
Love Baseline.
It's a good one.
Love it.
There you go.
Yeah. And let's do one from Animal Kingdom, shall we? Nomad Lounge?
Yes, Nomad Lounge.
Those are fruity rum cocktail drinks.
I mean, they have beer.
They have beer, but not.
Yeah.
We just got
That's
Tigers
a nice atmosphere, though.
I agree. Like, there's a lot of great places to get a drink, but he said beer, and that's.
I still don't understand how those churros are gluten-free and taste so good. My brain still hurts from those. They're amazing. All right. Danideeter
asks, what are the best days to visit each park, or days to avoid in each park, Did you? I read this actually on Instagram, Doug, before, and it's not read like this.
All right.
What are the best days to visit each park, or days to avoid each park? Which parks go with higher crowds and higher wait times?
Okay, I'm going to tell you the best days to avoid are any days that filthy locals like me are there, right? So really weekends. The busiest days are always going to be Saturday, especially Magic Kingdom Saturday when the locals show up. I would say Epcot on Friday and Saturday nights are busier with locals storming the palace. So really weekdays, if you're coming from out of town, go during the week and you'll be in good shape.
Yeah, the day of the week does not matter nearly as much as it used to in the days of extra magic hours. On-property guests flocked to the extra magic hour in the morning. It didn't matter whether they were there at 10 a.m. or there in time for the extra magic hour. they still went there. And it overpopulated. You can see the bus stops. The bus stops in the morning will tell you where not to go, where there's a big line. Yeah. And now with the way they're doing that extra morning magic hour thing, I can't remember the name right now, it evens it out because every park has it every day. And it's the best thing that they could have done for the fluctuation in park crowds. So now, you know what? Go to the park that fits your schedule and don't worry about that.
I will give one caveat, Doug.
The weekend is
the weekend.
Epcot,
if there is
Friday, Saturday night.
If it says first day of this festival, do not go to Epcot. If it's the first day of any festival, just avoid Epcot like the plague.
About opening day of an attraction.
That too.
Avoid that.
Yes.
50th anniversary, probably want to avoid
not
getting
the best
popcorn.
Day, a lot of crowds.
I was there.
So lots of caveats.
Doug was there.
I was there and thoroughly disappointed. I didn't even get a free cupcake. That's all I wanted.
All right. Well, that does it for all of the questions that we had, guys.
Those are great questions.
They were. So thank you, Kathy, so much for being on this week's episode. Why don't you take a minute and tell people where they can find you?
Well, I am on Twitter, as you guys know, at KathyK671. I'm also on Instagram at KathyK671 because I'm so creative. I decided to use the same handle for both.
It's called branding.
Right, there you go. And I discovered that I was not following you guys. I was not following Rope Drop Radio on Instagram. I fixed that.
Oh, yay.
Don't worry. I fixed it. So I'm following you guys now on Instagram. And of course, if you have questions like these, you'll definitely want to stop by and visit my friends at Plan Disney. And that's plandisney.com, and just submit your question. You can also search for questions. There are lots of questions kind of in the can already that may have an answer that you're looking for either. So there's a search box at the top. If you don't find what you're looking for, submit a question and you will get a personalized answer from one of the amazing Plan Disney panelists.
And if you want to hear Kathy's first show with us, where she does the lightning round at the end, it's episode 252.
I'm glad you looked it up, Doug.
252.
There you go. All right. Well, we also are going to have Kathy on our Patreon episode because one question that didn't come up and it bothered me so much is no one asked about the new Disney Living that was announced this week and if any of us were actually going to get a place to live and stay. So we're going to talk about that and some more things on Patreon. If you want that bonus content, you're going to have to go into our show notes, click that Patreon page, and definitely support us and support us some more by leaving reviews. Doug loves butchering your names every week, and so keep that up. Thank you for all the 5-star reviews. Thank you for everyone who's been listening. And, of course, if you want to book a trip to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise, any of the things, you need to contact the Rope Drop Queen, Michelle McKnight. Her email is in the show notes. She's actually emailing me right now on a trip that we have coming up. Hopefully, Doug, if, flights are not as cheap as they used to be. Let's talk about that now. When are flight prices going to come back down to normal?
Ooh, that's a Patreon topic.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much, listeners. So for Kathy and Doug, I'm Derek. You've been listening to Rope Drop Radio.